Hago Voch Raboisai. Live from Yellowstone on Erev Shabbos. I have to say, Shkoich again to Mark Ashkenazi. It's just an hour and a half before Shabbos. We rushed back from the park. And the truth is, I could use lighting. Mark, if you tell Fegi to tell him to bring the light outside, and we'll put it on. A good light will, I think, work. So my face is a little dark, I think. Anyways, I'm on the deck of the Airbnb. Beautiful, beautiful mountains in the background, and we have water over here, and the pelicans, the kaos. It's in Hebrew, it's a shachnai. They're right over here fishing. Beautiful. So today we went to the two famous features of Yellowstone Park. We went to the Old Faithful, which is a geyser that shoots out every 90 minutes approximately. Every day, it changes, but they tell you when it's going to be. We sat there for a few minutes and we got it. And then what's it called? This guy. Very, very famous. Beautiful colors. It's like a hot spring. The water is really, really hot. And there's a lot of minerals deposited. And when you go, the further you go, the better you can see the colors. But here we were mamish in it. So that's that. This is the Old Faithful, and we're not going to do any emails because it's not the whole thing, right, Mark? It shoots up about 120 feet up into the air, and it goes on for 2-3 minutes. Basically, pressure build up in the ground, cold water turns to hot water, ganze Maisa. So I think this is the most consistent, tallest one in the world. Morabu. Morabu. Okay. Was ist das? Geschmack, I did not see these. These are beautiful. Hazara, ben ezman, don't fall off the daf. And what's this? What is this? Oh, they put them up everywhere. That's so cool. Wow. Benny, kol hakavod. Of Geffen, Itzik. And of course, the one and only Zecharia Manulan. So let's see, they put up over here, over there. Azara ben Izman, awesome. Shkoyach, guys. Arale Akiva, learning the daf. Arale comes every day, so there's Akiva. Azriel Katz doesn't wait for the concert to start, he does the daf. The famous Azriel. Aryeh מעמודי הטבח של נקודת הצפייה תל ציון, לא מפספס את הדף גם בחופש. The Tel Tzion guy, Givaldik. Rabbi Yisai, the official edition of the Shas. So I have neighbors here. They're all in the parks right now. They're not here, but as soon as they come, I might have to lower it down. But meanwhile, we can get all excited and get into the learning. The Masechet is sponsored by Zevin Yal Shulov, Perik Shvi, dedicated by the Benedict family. Daf Tzadik Gimel, Ari and Idi Friedman, Lili Nishmas, David Ben Yisrael, Meir Zechron Levracha. David Salom, the Masechet, dedicated in memory of Avi Moir, Reb Shmuel Baruch Ben Reb Chaim Tzvi Dov Zechron Levracha. The Palchik Family Foundation, may our limit at Torah during Ben Azman and bring us closer to Yimei Geula V'Simcha. Anonymous, Hanslach Baruch Uvgashmis, and thank you to Chief Benny. The Masechet Anonymous for complete refuah shleima and Arichas Yom and Leah Bas Esther. The monthly sponsors, Chaim and Leah Levy, in honor of the MDY family. Anonymous for my birthday and as chos for that tzlach of my family. Baruchni, Embegashmi, Ari Simon, refuah shleima, Avi Meir Baruch by Miriam. The Tzvi's refuah shleima to Rivka, Naomi Bas Lisheva Batya. The Monty MDY firefighters, the Nishmas, unforgettable Chief Chaim Gabriel, Ben Ari Yoel Jacobs, and Zoran Bracha. This Spanish year sponsors refuah shleima to their dear friend of the Shir Espanol. Whoa, daily sponsors, Mo'imik Halev, happy 32nd birthday. IYKYK. There should be continued bracha, mazel, nachas, and sheva. Was I supposed to know what that is? I forgot what that is. I used to know what it is. Oh, it's my anniversary? I know it's my anniversary, so. Oh, Emir Hashem, Cain, if you know, you know. Okay, so I have to find. I didn't see any of this. I just came back from the park. Should we continue? Bracha, Mazel, Nachas, and Shefa. Omein. So it's my 32nd anniversary today. Spending in Yellowstone. Yishkoyach, wherever you are. Psh, very nice. All right. So just to explain to the Olam, I'll explain this in a minute. Monthly, Kinnovations LLC, as a schos, for Akiva Simcha Ben Fagin, Rivka Yehuda's Bat Siafa Chaya, and our kids too. Oive, I hear some Lo Mishuluni outside. Month, L'Rufus Tema Mordechai Ben Esther, L'Rufus Ayel Daniel Zev Ben Ayel Esther, Yishkoyach. Rabbi Isai, here we go. Let's just start. What's this? Oh, okay, good. So we're holding, I for whatever reason, I stopped 2 lines early, so we'll just go back. We're talking about, let's see if I can find the picture. Yeah, we're talking about the inside of the kidneys, the white part. So we had a machloikis. Rabbi says you have to take it out all the way to the root. Rabbi Yochanan says you have to take it all the way to Ravasi says no, you just shave off the top part. Omar Abayka will say the Rabbi Asi Mistabra. It makes a lot of sense, like Ravasi, that you just take off from the top. Why? The Omar Rabbi Abba, Omar Rabbi Yudah, Omar Shmuel says top of Tzadik Gimel Omar Aleph Chilev Shabbos Choifa Oisoi Mutter. So you have the ksalim. I'm going to show you a picture of the ksalim, the loins, right over here. But maybe we have a better picture with. So, anyways, okay. So let's use this picture where the white arrow is on top. That's the ksalim. So chelev shahabasar choifa oisay muter. When the meat covers the fat, it's mutter. Almost sha'al haksalim omer achmana. The Torah says the word al haksalim. You see right over here. Ve'ishtei haklois v'sachelev asher aleim asher al haksalim. So what the chelev that's on top of the ksalim, that's what's asur. But if you have a cover of meat, then it's mutter. So by the Gemara wants to say that by a kidney also you have meat on top of the fat, and that should make the fat mutter. If it's inside the ksalim, it's mutter. Therefore, that the white stuff inside the kidney should be okay. Just as a explanation, usually I wear my jacket, I give cover to the shear, but it's very hot outside, and it's Erev Shabbos over here in Yellowstone, and my wife and my daughter, they're cooking inside the kitchen. That's the main area where I typically give the shear, and the kids are running around. So in order not to disturb the shear, I'm outside, but it's a little bit too hot to wear a jacket. The other thing is that I got up super early to prepare the shear. We had to drive 2 hours to get to these place, to the the fountain, the whole thing. 2 hours back. It was a very, very short amount of time, and not that much to prepare. But we have to say Yishkoyach too. Oh, you know how to turn it on here. Yishkoyach Meir. Let me just show you. Here. You see? And then you go like this. Did it turn on? Yeah. And now let's just. Okay. Let's see. Put it right in front. Should help. Wow, that's gonna blind me. But it's not really helping. It is? Okay. So we'll just leave it. Yishkoyach, thank you, Mayor. Yishkoyach Mark for organizing. So because we only have now less than an hour and a half to do 2 shiurim, and I really need Mark to do the second shir, so we're gonna hurry. We're not gonna no jokes, no stories, no musar, nothing but the daf. And nothing, everything, nothing but the daf and Yellowstone. Zog the Gemara. Gufa. Omer Baba, Omer Yehuda, Omer Shmuel. We're holding 5 lines from the top. Chelev shabbosor choifa isai mutter. Any fat that you have meat on top of it and covers it, you're allowed to eat that fat. Eini v'amar Reb Abba Omer Reb Yehuda Omer Shmuel, but we say in the name of Shmuel, Haitarba the Tusei Masnei Aser. The fat that's underneath the loins is Aser. The loins also, that fat is covered by the loins, by the meat, and you just told me that anything that's covered by meat is mutter. Omer Abaya Behima Bechaya Paruke Miparka. When an animal walks and moves, so at certain times the fat gets uncovered. It's not always covered by the meat. Sometimes the meat moves aside. Let's say this is the fat, and the meat covers it. Sometimes as it's walking, there's a little bit of it gets uncovered. It's not covered by, and that's why that particular fat is also. I'm not a butcher. I'm not the son of a butcher. Now Benny and Benny's son can't say that, right? He's a butcher, and his son is the son of a butcher. And that's exactly what they used to say in the Beis Medrash. An animal during its lifetime, she, what's the good word for it? Becomes undone. Becomes open. The fat becomes open. Omer Rabbi Omer Yehuda Omer Shmuel Chelev Sha'al Hemses Ubeis HaKosos. So let's see if we can find this.
מצוין, בואו נעמוד פה. מה שאתם רואים עכשיו יוצא החוצה זה הכרס, אבל היא עטופה. התורה אומרת בויקרא מונה 4 חלבים. יש החלב המכסה את הכרב, ויש החלב אשר על הכרב, ויש אשר על הכסולים, ויש על הקלויוס. זה נקרא החלב המכסה את הכרב.
It's a blanket. This is what we use to cover the head.
זה בדף מ"ט, והם נתנו לנו, וזה הלוכה, סימנים. מה זה החלב המכסה שהוא אסור? שהוא תותב, תויסב, קרום ונקלב. תויסב פירושו הוא יושב על הכרס כמו סמלה, כמו סדין כזה, עוטף אותו, ויש עליו קרום, הקרום הזה נקלב. תויסב, קרום.
So, the stomach of the animal has 4 parts. The food first goes in, and then it goes to the hemsis, to the basic kaisos, and then to the, what is it called? The keres, right? And then it goes out to the ma'ayim. So the chelev that's on top of the hemsis and the basic kaisos, those 2 things. And he also mentioned, Rabbi Mitai ben David mentioned, it says in the pasuk, es hachelev ha'machasas ha'kerev, and basic kol ha'chev asher al ha'kerev. This is on the kerev. So that's what so asurim, that fat is asur midoraisa v'anush karas. It's a very severe punishment. V'zeu chelev shal ha'kerev. That's exactly what the Torah says at the end of this pasuk. Al ha'kerev. That's the doraisa, and that's what he showed in the video. Omer Rabba Omer Rav Yehuda Omer Shmuel Haitarbo the kilivusto. This fat that's on a small little bone at the end of the spine, asur. V'anush karas, it's again the iraisa, and you get karas. V'zeu chelev sha'alak solim, and that's the other pasuk right over here. Asher alak solim, and that's included also in that solim. V'amar Rabba Omer Rav Yehuda Omer Shmuel chutim shebiyad asurim. The veins, the chutim, the strings, in other words, the veins that are in the shoulder are also to eat. Omer of Safra, Moshe. Moshe is like a lashon of your Talmid Chacham. Oh boy, they're attacking me, these bugs. Moshe, mi Omer Achmano leitechol bisra. These veins, they're actually meat. So where did the Torah say you shouldn't eat meat? Omer Rava, Moshe, he says back to Rav Safra, Moshe, your Talmid Chacham, mi Omer Achmano chol dama. But there's blood inside veins. Veins carry the blood. So Memela, the Torah obviously didn't allow you to eat the blood. So by the way, people asked online, somebody was telling me that, is the picture just one of these, pictures you put in Zoom? Is it the AI? So if you look at you'll see the clouds are probably moving. I don't know, I didn't see, but I'll move it around and you'll see. Here, this is the the lake, it goes all the way to the house, Baruch Hashem. They say it's not kedai to swim in it because of the algae, whatever. It's not so okay. But no, not AI. It's real, and that's why I took this place over a few other options because of the mountain view and the water. Two beautiful things. Oive, it's on the angle now. Okay. You mean like that? Better? Okay. Zog the Gemara. That's why we need Mark. Good? Good. Okay. Zog the Gemara. So the problem is that there's blood inside these veins. Now, what if you cut out the veins and you salt it? I feel like then you could even cook it in a pot and eat it. What's the problem? I just want to make sure that because I didn't have a whole lot of time to prepare, I just want to make sure I'm not. Oh, yeah, I almost missed this video. Check it out. Beautiful video.
Zalman, honestly, there's nothing in the house. Maybe you'll go get a few groceries?
Oh, sorry.
Zootomia. The anatomy of zoology.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Question number 1. Question number 2.
How many ribs?
Final question. And the winner is Zalman. Who is that? Congratulations. A full year of groceries from the university.
So, because the Gemara says, I'm not a butcher or the son of the butcher, but yet I know the anatomy of animals. Okay, very good. It could do you good. Sometimes you can win different, what's it called? Or, yeah, groceries for a year. V'chule. Says the Gemara, Omer Rav Yehuda Mashmuel, Reish Mayo, the beginning of the intestines, ba'amsa boy grira. So it's in this picture right over here. You'll see it highlighted. Oh, let me show you again. It's the first, right when it comes out of the stomach, the fourth stomach, the beginning of the intestines. One amma, you have to peel off the fat. You can see the yellow fat on it. That's considered the fat that's on the small intestines. Chutin are like the nerves, that the end of the spine, the lower spine, asurim, they're asur. Says the Gemara, there are 5 nerves in the flanks. 3 on the right, Here we go. Here's the picture. Three on the right and 2 on the left. The tray. 2 of them split off to the 3 split off to 2, and the 2 split off to 3. You see that's the bone that we were talking about before, that the chalev on that bone is asur, okay? And this is just the splits. What's the nafkamina? Nafkamina is shalaflu ad chamime mishtalfi, that if you're able to pull out these nerves when the animal's still warm, will come right out. And if not, you know how many of these nerves you have to dig deep down to get to. There's nerves slash veins in 5 different places. Tlasa mishum tarba. 3 of them are also because of fat, chela, fat. Utrei mishum dama. And 2 of them are also because of the blood inside the veins. The tachli, the spleens, or the kafli, we said it's the loins, the flanks, or the kulyasa, and that of the kidney, mishum tarba. They are all also because they have fat. The yada, the shoulder, udaloya, and the jaw. So over here he had a picture because the Rishonim, the Rush says it's not just the jaw, but it's also the nerves in the veins in the tongue. No, not this one. I don't see it so well because I'm outside, but yeah, there's like red veins in the tongue. That the problem is mishum dama. It's because of the blood in the vessels. L'may nafkimina. So what's the nafkimina? Hani the mishum dama. The ones that we know that are also only because of blood, so you can get rid of the blood. If you cut it open, I hope it didn't. I felt it on me, but I hope I didn't kill it on me. If you cut it open and you salt it and get rid of the blood, then shapir dami, you're allowed to eat it. Hanoch, but the other ones, they're for fat. Less with the kant, there's nothing you can do about it. Can't eat it. There are 3 membranes in the body of the animal, plus a mishum dar, but 3 of them are also because of fat. And 2 because of blood. The tachle, that of the spleen, the kafle, and the ones of the flanks with the chulyasa, and the membrane of the kidney mishum tarba is all also because of fat. The beya, but the beitzim of an animal, of a zachar, with the mikro, and the membrane of a brain, mishum dama. That the problem is blood. Rabbi Yehuda bar Yishaya have a kolif le tachlo lelevi brei the Rav Huna bar Chia. He was peeling off the membrane of the spleen. Let's take a look at the spleen here for a second. So here you see there's a membrane on top of the spleen. Have a kogoyim le miloy. He was only taking off the top layer. Omar le chois beit fei. No, you got to go lower down. Also avu ashkechei. So Rav Huna bar Chia came. Omar le hocham avuch avu the imach. This is what your grandfather said. Mishum the Rav, the name of Rav Umanu. Who's your grandfather? Rabbi Yirmiyah bar Abba. He said lo yosur toireh lo shala dad bilvad. So there's a part of the spleen, as you can see in the picture, top left, that looks more like an udder. It's not an udder, obviously. So the Gemara calls it a dad, but it's the shape of the udder, and that's the only thing that the Torah said that it's chaylev and that's also that's closer to the chaylev the da'iraisa. But the rest of the chaylev would be mutter. Eini v'omer Rav Amnuna tona krum shalat choil osur ve'en chayav malav. The membrane that's on the spleen is also, but it's not the da'iraisa. You're not chayiv. If it's like that top part, that's literally the chaylev of the kerev. That's part of the kerev. It should be also. Elo the kula, we're referring to the rest of the spleen. So the top part, the dad, is 100% also. The rest of it is the Rabbana. So Amar Le, Tanya. If that's what you learned, okay, so I accept. Okay, and I'll start peeling off the bottom part as well because it's also. Gufa Amar Rav Amnuna. How are we doing time wise? Okay. Amar Rav Amnuna Tana Krum Shalat Choil Asur Ve'en Chayavim Alav. So let's see the Choil for a second.
This is Chol or Ve'en Kasser. We've got 2 parts here. We've got a thicker part over here and the thinner part over here. You've got a neck over here on the thinner part. It's kosher. Maybe later. You've got a thicker part. Maybe it's the thicker part over here. I'm going to give it out. Give it done. Look at the street. That's going to be sumche, the thicker part. Okay.
So this spleen, the membrane that's on the spleen, tono, that we just learned, krum shalat chol, also ve'en chayav alav. It's also to eat, but you're not chayiv malchus if you do eat it. Krum shal gabe kulya also the same thing. The membrane that's on the kidney, it's also to eat, but you're not chayiv if you do. In other words, you're not chayiv malchus. Shad fact the Gemara of Tanya. I just said shad the Gemara, but Tanya chayavim olav. It says before the chayiv malchus on eating the membrane of the spleen. Says the Gemara tcholat choli kashio. It's not a contradiction. Ha keneged hadad. The membrane that's by the hadad. Let's go back to the dad. The top left part. That's taka aser. That's because it's next to the kerev chel of the kerev. Shaloi keneged hadad. Ha shaloi keneged hadad. And the rest of the spleen is okay. You don't get malchus for that. Kulya namal kasha. And don't ask a contradiction. A kidney from a kidney. Ha bi'ilah. The membrane that's above the chelev is considered like chelev, and mela it's aser. Ha betata, but there's a lower membrane, and that's underneath the chelev, and that would be okay. Says the Gemara, bei chashilasa. You have the beitzim of an animal, a zachar animal, that are sort of detached. So they're in the kiss. They're attached within the body, but they're detached from the actual, what do you call it, veins or whatever you want to call it. It has a partial detachment. So you have a machloikes, is this considered Eber min achai? Because let's say if you take a spleen, somebody sticks his hand into an animal and cuts the spleen off. So that we learned, even though it's inside the animal, it's considered Eber min achai. So what if you have a similar thing with the beitzim of an animal? They're detached inside the animal, but they're within the pouch, and they're held like that. So machlokes Rav Ami and Rav Asi whether or not it's considered Ever min achai. Chad osav chad shari. One says it's Ever min achai, therefore it's also for you to eat even after you shech the animal. Another one says it's motor. Daf tzadagim on base man da osar mils midloi kobarion, because they can't heal. It's considered that they're detached from the body completely. But at the end of the day, they're not going to spoil. So being in the pouch saves it from spoiling. So in other words, it does have some life to it, and if it has life to it, the Gemara understands that it shouldn't be a Ever min achai. So what does each one do with the other one's svara? It seems like, look, it's never going to heal. So if it's never going to heal, it's Ever min achai. It's a sheni, it doesn't spoil. The reason why it doesn't spoil is because there's no oxygen, but not because it actually has life. Just as a general thing, the neflois habayir that Kosh Baruch Hu created this pouch that's outside the body, because otherwise the temperature is not the right temperature. The body temperature of an animal or of a human being is too high and would destroy the whole zera. And the Kosh Baruch Hu made a special thing that's why it's outside of the body. So says the Gemara, no, so how come it doesn't? But on the other hand, it never heals. Why doesn't it heal? Because it got weak, but not because it's detached from the body. These beitzim, even though they're detached before the shchita, you're allowed to eat them. But you, my son, don't eat. You, Rav Shem bar Abba, don't eat. You have a minhag, you have a chumra in mishpacha, so don't eat it. But you should know that midiraisa you're allowed to eat it. It's not Ever min achai. These beitzim of a goat, ad plus in yoimin sharion beloy klipa. So if the goat is not 30 days old, they're permitted without the membrane. But more than 30 days, if they already have zera in them, in other words, they could fertilize, asurim. They're asur. Why? Because now the concern is that there's blood. And if there's blood in it, then it's also like blood in an egg of a chicken. That fertilization, that ability to fertilize, if that's the proper word, creates blood, and that blood is also. So you'd have to like peel the membrane in order that there shouldn't be any blood. Viloy azron, but if the zera didn't come in, sharion it's mutter. Minoyadin, how do you know whether or not it was, if it's azron or not azron? Says Gemara, izbu shuryoke sumke asiron. If it has red strings, then it would be also. Lesbu shuryoke sumke sharion. But if it doesn't have those red strings, then it's mutter. The red strings is a simon of blood, which is also. Says the Gemara, when you have like an injury on the meat of the animal, like a black and blue mark. So you have like a blood clot. Beye, these eggs, the beitzim, umizrike, these are the veins from the shechita, the base of shechita in the neck. Pligi bar of achav ravino. So the machlokes is Rav Acha and Ravina. Says the Gemara Yisoid. B'chalata rekula, Ravina lekula, v'Rav Acha l'chumra. Everywhere in Shas, Ravina is always the one that's makel, and Rav Acha is always the one that's machem. And Ravina lekula, we always go between the two, and there's an argument between Ravina and Rav Acha. We always go like Ravina lekula. Lebar, Mahanet Laz, Rav Acha lekula, Ravina l'chumra. Besides these three things, the opposite. Rav Acha, instead of Ravina being the makel, Rav Acha becomes the makel. And guess what? Allah is Bekitzer, we're very consistent. We always go lekula. It's usually Ravina, but once in a while it's Rav Acha's makel, and we go lekula. The asmik. So when there's a blood clot, there's a red zetz on the meat. You cut it, and you salt it. So if the guy salts it, cuts it, salts it, takes care of it, so you let it even put it into your chont. So now if you hang it and you put it on a skewer, doiv dama. So the blood will drip out, will come out. Agumre, but if you put it on top of coals, mamish the oilam is in the, benazmanim, barbecuing, going to parks. So we're familiar with this. With coals, pligi bar of acha v'ravina. There's a shaila whether or not the blood comes out completely, or perhaps the blood gets stuck inside and becomes part of the meat. Pligi bar of acha v'ravina. Chad omar mishov shaivele. That it's mutter. Why? Because the blood comes out. The heat expels the blood. The opposite. Because of the heat, it kind of shrivels back into the hamburger, into the, I'm saying hamburgers. I ate a hamburger yesterday and it was like all red, like red juice. And I'm like wondering, is that blood? What is that? It can't be blood. So what is it? I don't know. V'chein beya, v'chein mizrika, the same thing would be with beitzim and also the veins of the neck. Reisha bekivsha. You take the head of an animal, you put it on the coals in order to singe the hair. If you put it directly on the opening by the shechita, doiv dama b'shari. So the blood that's inside the head, inside the neck, in the area of the shechita will come out and it's mutter. Atzdadim, but if you put the head sideways, mikveh kafi v'asir, so then it will congeal inside, it'll become asir. I think we have a little bit of here we go. If it's standing upwards like that, so the blood comes out. If it's sideways, it goes inside, no good. Now, if you put it on its nose, if you put something in its nose to open it up, to keep it open, like in this beautiful picture, if this was like our new Gemara, Be'ez Hashem, we're going to have many, many pictures, full-time artists, together with Yoshi, and, throwing in our stuff, and it's just going to get better and better. So something like this, people are going to go through, they're not going to know what in the world is this picture, but now you read the Gemara, it makes so much sense. You have to keep the nostril open with some sort of device. And if you don't put something in there like this, aser, it's aser. If you put it on its nose or on the opening of the shechita dive, all the blood is going to come out. That's dadim. If you put it on the sideways, this picture that we have here that he has something in its nose is only because you put it sideways. Not if you put it like this. If you put it this way, you don't have to put anything in its nose. Only when you put it sideways is the ikidamri. Then that's when you have to put something in there. He does by me the shari viloi aser. How are we doing, Mark? We could go weiter. Huh? I didn't see. Do it one more time. Okay, we'll go a few more minutes. 5 more minutes. There's two sinews. There's two tzamis hagidim, right? So that was the sugi we had the other day. Let's go back over here. Here we go. The inner and the outer one. The one that's close to the bone, also it's also to eat from malav, and you get an oynish for it. The outer one that's next to the meat, also malav. As the Gemara that the one inside that's next to the basar is also. It goes back in. Including miklad is a lotion of like a key and a keyhole. So the inner one is only next to the meat because it later on goes back in and joins up with the meat. Sorry. It seems like it's only the Rabbanan and not the Daraisa. Or maybe the Heicha de Pari Tabacha. No, that's something else that we're referring to, that where the butchers, where they cut, that's exposed. But in other words, there's a part that's exposed that's not inside the basar. Says the Gemara, Itmar tabach shenimtza chelev achrav. Okay, so it's a short sugya, new sugya. If there's a butcher that says, I took care of this meat and everything's clean, but later on you find that there's fat that is also to eat. Rav Yidamar b'chesaira, you give him a penalty even if you only find a tiny amount, the size of a barley. Rav Yochanan b'kezayis, no, only if it's a larger amount, then you punish him. Rav Papa v'lipligi, once again comes Rav Papa. Now we're seeing a theme in all of Shas. Rav Papa says, no, nobody's arguing. We just had it 2 days ago when he said this is Rav Papa and his sons. He was zoicha to have 10 sons in the Hadron. Some say, kan la koisoi, kan la abroi. To give him malchus, it's enough. You need a larger share of a kazayis. But to get rid of him, and that he shouldn't be a butcher anymore, that even a smaller amount. But to punish him, you need a larger amount. Omer Marzutra, Kisoyer b'mokim echad. That no, the pshat is what the shear of Kisoyer is in one place, but the shear of Kazayis, the Rabbi Yochanan says, afilu mishnayim shloshim mekayim, is that you could gather a small piece from here and a small piece from here, and all together it adds up to Kazayis. Then it's also also, even though it's in different places. And the halacha is, in order to give a person malchus, he has to have sold something, left a kazayis worth of fat inside the animal, la'abroi. But to get rid of him from his job and make sure that he never works as a butcher again, b'chesayra, even a smaller amount. Okay, 2 more minutes, Mark, and then we're going to go to the. Let's get to the Mishnah if we can. The butcher is not believed on a Gid Anosha. And the Chelev, later on they said, no, they are believed. It doesn't make sense. What, a later generation is better than the first generation? The first generation are not believed, then they are believed. So the Gemara Mikar, in the beginning, when we held like Reb Meir, they have to dig deep in to get all the stuff out, then nobody's believed. But later on, we pass like Reb Yehuda that you don't have to go deep in, so it's not such a big tircha. I could trust the butcher that he did a good job. And some say this goes at the end. Chacham are the ones that say that you believe a butcher. Later generation, they said no believe. So that makes sense now. Later on, people are less believed. But later, a third time, later generation, they are believed. As the Gemara Shuri what they became more believable than the time of Reb Chia, in the time of Reb Yochanan. So the Gemara Mikar Savur Reb Yehuda had the Savur Reb Meir. In the beginning, we passing like Reb Yehuda that you don't have to go deep, so they were believed. Later on, they said that the Allah is like Reb Meir. The problem is people remember that Allah like Reb Yehuda that you don't have to go deep, and people kept that minhag. V'hashta that Anshuya is Reb Yehuda me'emni. But now that they forgot about Reb Yehuda, they forgot that Allah is like Reb Yehuda. Now the future generations, the Allah became more acceptable like Reb Meir. They have to go deep, cut deep in, and take everything out. So they are believed. Chelev mandikashmei. Why does the Mishnah talk about chelev when we're only talking about a gidar nosha? No, we did talk about chelev, and we said he's not believed. He is believed on the gidar nosha and the chelev. Rabboisai, have a wonderful day.
Merit the schus of spreading Torah throughout the world. Sponsor a shir today. MDYsponsor.com or sponsor at MDYDaf.com.